Welcome, my excellent A students. So in this video, we'll be looking at fraction of fractions from base 10 to other base. But as it is our practice, we'll begin with solving the take-home assessments from the last video. And the questions were to convert 3215 base 6 to base 8, 2101 base 3 to base 4, and 547 base 8 to base 16. Solution: question 1. 3215 base 6 to base 7. First, we convert to base 10. 0, 1, 2, 3 becomes 3 times the base 6 to the power of 3 plus 2 times the base 6 to the power of 2 plus 1 times the base 6 to the power of 1 plus 5 times the base 6 to the power of 0. So this becomes 6 to the power of 3 would give us 216. So this becomes 3 times 216 plus 2 times 6 raised to the power 2 is not 12, it is 36. 1 times 6, 5 times 1, because anything raised to the power 0 will give us 1. So 216 times 3 will give us 648 plus 2 times 36 will give us 72. 6 times 1 will give us 6. 5 times 1 will give us 5. So all of this will give us 648 plus 72 plus 6 plus 5 will give us 731 is 10. So we need to convert this to base 7 by dividing continuously by 7. So 731 divided by 7 give us a number 104. With that decimal, to get that decimal, just subtract the answer from 104, which is the whole number, and multiply by the base 7 to give us 3. So if you do 104 times 7 plus 3, you get 731, which is correct. So 104 divided by 7 would give us 14. So this answer minus 14, to get the fractional part, we multiply by 7, we get 6. 14 divided by 7 would give us 2 without the remainder. 2 divided by 7 would not even go, we'll got remainder 2. So our solution 3215 is 6 would be 2063 base 7. 2101 base 3. To convert it to base 4, we first convert this to base 10. We give it index 0, 1, 2, 3. So this is 2 times the base 3 raised to the power index 3 plus 1 times the base 3 raised to the power 2 plus 0 times 3 raised to the power 1 plus 1 times 3 raised to the power 0. So this becomes 2 times 3 raised to the power 3 is not 9, is not 3 times 3, is 3 times 3 times 3. 3 in 3 places, and that's 27. Plus 1 times 3 raised to the power 2 will give us 9. This becomes 0. And 3 raised to the power 1 is 4. So this becomes 54 plus 9 plus 1. And this becomes 64 base 10. We then convert this to base 4 by continuously dividing 64 by 4, because 4 is the number we are converting it to. So 4 divided by 64 will give us 16 without remainder. That's plus 0. 4 divided by 16 will give us 4 without remainder. That will be plus 0. 4 divided by 4 will give us 1 without remainder. 4 divided by 1 divided by 4 will not go, equal 0 with the remainder 1. So 64. So 2101 base 3 will become 1000 base 4. So let's solve the third question. 547 base 8 to a base 16 number. Of course, we first convert this to base 10. Give it index 0, 1, 2. So this is 5 times the base 8 to the power of 2 plus 4 times the base 8 to the power of 1 plus 7 times the base 8 to the power of 0. So this becomes 5 times 8 raised to the power 2 is not 16 because it's not 8 times 2. It's 8 times 8, which is 64, plus 4 times 8 raised to the power 1 is 8. And 7 times 8 raised to the power 0 is 1 because any number raised to the power of 0 would always give us 1. So 5 times 64 will give us 320. 4 times 8 will give us 32. 7 times 1 will give us 7. So this becomes 320 plus 32 plus 7. That will give us 359 base 10. And then we convert this to base 16 by dividing continuously by 16. So 359 divided by 16 will give us a number 22 with that fractional part. So to get the fractional part, subtract the whole number 22 from it and multiply it by 16. We have remainder 7. So 22 divided by 16 will give us whole number 1 with that fractional part. Then multiply it by 16. That's 6. 1 divided by 16 will not go, we record 0 with the remainder 1. So therefore 547 base 8 will be equal to 167 base 16. Let's take some examples. We have convert 5 over 8 to base 2, convert 7 over 12 to base 2, convert 25 over 32 to base 5, convert 9 over 16 to base 2, convert 1 over 8 to base 4, convert this to base 8. So how do we do it? The first thing you want to do is to write this as decimal. So it becomes 0.625. We want to convert it to a base 2 number. Remember, when we were converting from base 10 to other base, we divide continuously. In the case of a fraction, to do this, we are going to continuously multiply the base 10 fraction by the base we want to convert to. We are going to continuously multiply the number by the base we want to convert to. So in our case here, so 0.625 times 2 would give us 1.25. 1, the whole number 1 will be what we will record. That's what we need here. So the fractional part 0.25 is what we will now multiply by 2 again. So 0.25 times 2 will give us 0.5. So 0 is what we record because what is before the decimal is 0. What is after the decimal? 0.5. So we write the 0.5 in and then we multiply it by 2 again. So 0.5 multiplied by 2, 0.5 multiplied by 2 will give us 1.0. So we record the 1 and this will be 0.0. So this is where we stop. This one, we are going to start reading from up to down. When we're doing conversion of numbers from base 10 to other base, like whole numbers, that is not fraction, we recorded the remainders from down to up. But in this case, when we're dealing with fraction, we're going to record from up to down. So this would become 5 over 8 base 10, or 0.625 base 10 would become 0.101 base 2. To convert 7 over 12 to base 2, the first thing we do, we get the decimal value of 7 over 12. So 7 divided by 12 will give us 0.5833. 0.5833 times the base we want to convert to will give us 1.6. So we write the 1.1 here, the whole number 1, and write the decimal part 1667, then times 2 again, Note, we are not doing 1.1667 times 2. What we are doing is 0.1667 times 2. And that will give us 0.3334. Then times 2 again. That will give us 0.6668 times 2 again. That will give us 1.3336. You can decide to stop here, as it seems as though this would continue in this pattern, or we can try to check again. So we do 0.3336 times 2. This will give us 0.6672. So we can stop here if we want. So remember, I said we would record this top to bottom. So that means 7/12, which is 0.5833 base 10, will give us 0.10010 approximately base 2. Let's take the next question. Convert 25/12 to base 5. The first thing we do, 25/12 is 25 divided by 12, and that will give us 2.0833 approximately. So we can see that this has a whole number and a decimal part. The whole number is not just 0, it's 2 point something. So how do we go about something like this? What we do is to first pick these 2. We want to convert 2 to base 5 separately. We do this separately, and then do the fraction part 0.0833 to base 5 separately. So to convert base 10 to base 5, that is an whole number, not a decimal in this case, divide by the base. So 2 divided by 5, it won't go, so it's 0 plus 2. 2 base 10 to base 5 is still 2. Then we come here and do the fraction part. So 0.0833 to base 5, we multiply it by 5, will give us 0.4165. So we record 0 here, times 5 again. This will be 2.0825 times 5 again. Remember, it's not 2.0825 times 5. What you do is this minus 2 to get the fractional part. Is the only fractional part that you now multiply by the base 5. That will give us 0.4125 times 5 again. This will give us 2.0625, and we can stop here if we want to. So also note that we record this top to bottom. So we can say 25/12 will give equals to, we first record this whole number part, 2.0202 base 5. Question 4 is 9/16 to base 2. The first thing we want to do is say 9/16, convert it to the decimal. 9 divided by 16 would give us 0.5625. So what do we need to do? We continuously multiply this by the base we want to convert to, which is base 2. So 0.5625 times 2 would give us 1.125. So the decimal part of the answer, which is 125. So we'll do 0.125 times 2 again. We get 0.25. Then times 2 of this, 0.25 times 2 will give us 0.5. Times 2 again will give us 1. So we stop here. Our answer 9/16, which is equal to 0.5625 is 10, will be equals to 0.1001 base 2. 1/8 to base 4. So 1 divided by 8 will give us 0.125. Convert this to base 4. We will multiply 0.125 times 4. It will give us 0.5. So the 0.5 times 4 again will give us 2.0. And that's our answer. So 1/8, which is 0.125 is 10, would give us, note that we read from top to bottom. This will be 0.02 base 4. 131 whole number, 3/12 to base 8. So we separate it. 231 to base 8. We'll do that separately, and then we do the fraction part separately. So 231 to base 8, you continuously divide by 8. So we have 231 divided by 8. That would give us 28 whole number, and it will remainder 7. 28 divided by 8, that is 3, remainder 4. 3 divided by 8 will not go through, remainder 3. So 231 becomes 347 is 8. And then the decimal part, 3/12. So 3 divided by 12 is 0.25. 0.25 is 10. So to convert this to base 8, we multiply 0.25 times 8 will give us 2.0. So 0 times 8 is still 0, so that's where we stop. So this would become 231 over 3/12, which is the same thing as 231.25 is 10, will be 347.2 is 8. 1196 whole number, 13/52 to base 16. Like I said, if you have whole number and fraction, you separate it. We take the whole number separately and we treat the decimal part separately. So we change this one to base 16. 1196 by dividing continuously by 16. 1196 divided by 16, and that would give us 74 plus 12. 74 divided by 16, 4 plus 10. 4 divided by 16 will not go, and it will remain 4. So 1196 base 10 to base 16 will give us 4. 10 will become A. 12 is C. Is 16. and then taking the fractional part, 13 over 52. The first thing we want to do is 13 over 52 is what in terms of decimal, that's 0.25. So what do? We multiply by the base we want to work with, 0.25 times 16. So 0.25 times 16 will give us 4 without 4.0. So that's our answer. So 1196 whole number 13 over 52 will now become 4 AC points 4 base 16. I hope you understand this, and I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed explaining home assignment for this lesson. But 4 over 7 to base 2, this is in base 10. Note that anytime a number is written without an explicit base, then that number is in base 10 automatically. That number is in base 10. 17 over 12 to base 2. 432 whole number 43 over 256 to base 16. 28 whole number 21 over 32 to base 8. Remember, if you didn't understand it once, watch it again. That is the MathSense way.